The next thing I learned was huge out there was to find your purpose. This was pivotal for me. Bush Plains, where I was here, was hot and dry. It's a strong wind that blew every single day, and it was just this dry, arid place. And water was huge priority while I was out there, more than most other places. It was so dry that I had to drink around a gallon or so of water a day just to stay hydrated, to keep from getting dehydrated and passing out. When I'd stand up after kneeling down for a while, I'd get dizzy and I'd kind of wobble around. That took a lot of work. I gathered a lot of firewood and boiled water. I had a little tiny pot trying to boil all this water in. You have to boil it for 10, 15 minutes. You have to cool it down. You have to try to store it. And then you're drinking boiled mud water. It was miserable. And I spent around 4 or 5 hours a day just boiling water. The rest of my day was spent fishing. And I ate really well while I was out there. I was dubbed the best fed survivalist ever on any TV show. I had to represent Minnesota, you know, right? I caught a total of 77 fish while I was there in the Bush Plains over the 16 days I was there. I was really living it up. I was doing well. But you know what? I started to get bored. I was just boiling water and fishing all day, every day, over and over and over again. That's not what I signed up for. It's not exciting. It didn't keep me going. If someone had told me before I went out there that you would want to quit when it was easy before you quit when it was hard, I would have laughed at them. I would have thought that was crazy. It's insane. But the crazy thing is that when you have something to fight against, when you have something to work towards, when you have a goal, when you're pushing, pushing, you have a purpose. You have something to fight against at least. But once life starts getting easy, we get a little lazy. We get complacent. And we start wanting more. We need satisfaction. So I decided and realized that I didn't just need fire, water, shelter, and food. I needed a fifth thing. I needed a purpose. Without a purpose, I would not make it out there. So I decided to build a chair. I was getting really tired of sitting on that log. There's no back support, and it was really uncomfortable. I built a small chair in the Amazon, and I thought I'll do something very similar. I didn't have the same materials in the Amazon, so I found these slender, thin trees and branches that were flexible, stripped them of their bark and threw them in the water and let them soak for a little while. I pounded stakes in the ground and made a jig, and I bent these trees around there and tied them up with cordage I had made and some vines I could find, anything I could find. Took the different pieces and assembled them together, and I made the world's worst chair. It was really bad. It was, absolutely terrible. You sit in it, it's kind of wobbly and teetery, and you're not quite sure if it'll support your weight, but it kept me busy. It gave me a purpose. It gave me something to work on, and I spent 3 or 4 days working on that chair. And every day I would boil water and I'd fish, and then I'd come back and he said, I get to work on my chair again. It was something I had as a daily goal to get back to. I like building things with my hands. That's the way I work. You know, as a plumber and working in construction, I get to create something every day, and then I get to look at it and say, I made that. For me, that's the thing that motivates me. That's the thing that keeps me going. Everybody's going to have their own.